Good evening. It is 6:25. I'm going to call our regularly scheduled board meeting to order. I apologize for the delay. Can I get a motion to leave out of executive session?
I'd like to make a motion to re-enter general session.
Can I get a second? All in favor? And the motion carries 7-0. All right. Thank you all for being here. Considering that we already run a little bit behind, we'll just jump right in with the invocation and pledge from Trustee Scully.
Okay, let us pray. Almighty Father, we praise you and give you thanks. As our district reflects on our theme this year of transformation, it is against this backdrop that we remember that you were the original transformer, the original and only prime. You transformed from God to man, which set in motion events that through your humanly death and resurrection give us the opportunity to transform ourselves from that of sinners to saved. Your blessed transformation inspires us in our work to transform and change the lives of our students, from illiterate to readers, from students to graduates, from unskilled to skilled, from leaders, from followers to leaders. Lord, we thank you for all of our teachers who endeavor to create these transformations. We also thank you for all our students, including students Cadence McPherson, Savannah Magar, and Alexa Alsop, who provide tangible and visible examples of transformations by their God-given talent to turn blank canvas into stunning and beautiful works of art. Heavenly Father, we ask for your continued blessing and protection over all our families. Please hear this prayer and those unspoken prayers in our hearts. In your name we pray. Amen. Let us stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The folks that are going to be highlighted during the school board spotlight are not present yet, so we are going to move forth with the superintendent's report and then do the school board spotlight following. Dr. Ross.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. I bring to you our superintendent spotlight for our September 22nd meeting. As always, we're guided by three critical questions. Why do we do this work? Our vision. How do we accomplish that vision, our mission? And what are our outcomes? That's guided by our strategic plan. Our vision is that we love and grow our students. Our mission is that we're focused on academic, social, emotional growth and development. And then our strategic plan outcomes. These are 24 strategies facing 4 performance goals until every child feels loved in our schools and every child has demonstrated academic growth in our schools. We're guided by the strategic plan until 2026-27 school year. And as we work to that aim, we're looking on our new strategic plan that will take us out to 2032. The state of South Carolina has set forth a strategic plan with a goal that 75% or more of students will be at or above grade level by 2030. And as we march in that direction, we're excited to look at areas where we have already accomplished that. For instance, in our English 2 EOCs, in terms of the number of students A through C scoring on that examination. When we look at our examination for EOC, there's something to celebrate. As we look at growth over the years, I want us to look at each cohort differently. And when you look at the cohort performance, you'll see that in Algebra 1, Lexington Richland 5 cohort is first in the Midlands. The Biology 1, Lexington Richland 5 is first in the Midlands. English 2 cohort, Lexington Richland 5 is first in the Midlands. U.S. History EOC cohort, Lexington Richland 5 is first in the Midlands. This is a huge celebration for not only our district, but our teachers and our students and families in terms of their end of course examinations. When we look at what we're doing in terms of career readiness, we hear a lot from our employers about our students career ready? Are we getting them ready for the jobs of the future and jobs of today? And when it comes to that 75% or more, I'm pleased to share that we are, in a lot of areas, we have met or surpassed that expectation of the state's strategic plan. And so when you look at all of the subtests for career readiness and data and understanding the data on the career readiness, Lexington Richland 5 is first in the Midlands. Career readiness math, Lexington Richland 5 is first in the Midlands. Career readiness reading, Lexington Richland 5 scores first in the Midlands. And that ever important skill, the soft skills, we hear our employers talk about the soft skills and how important it is to show up on time with the manners to do our work. Our students are first in the Midlands. And so we're very proud of, again, that work, that representation of a strong district in Lexington Richland 5 and those results. What's the secret to our success? Well, we want to continue to strengthen what's called MTSS, the multi-tiered support services and systems. This is to ensure that we have multiple opportunities to be successful with our students. All students receive Tier 1 interventions, but if there's any deficits on Tier 1, then we would move to Tier 2. Madam Chair, members of the board, I commit that we want to look at strengthening some of these Tier 2 interventions, strengthening them in academics and in social emotional and counseling. And so we want to present back to this body plans that we can do to strengthen our Tier 2 so that we can increase the amount of success for all of the students in Lexington Richland 5. We see that the opportunity is really a matter of time. If you remember years ago, I presented to you that third grade timetable of a third grade teacher. And all of the potentially tested, over 200 potentially tested standards and indicators that a third grade teacher had to address. Third grade is very important to me. I spent 2 years in it, so I know a lot about it. But also, a lot of our students, due to the new Act 114, are in jeopardy of repeating the third grade if they do not meet the target goals. So now that English and math standards have been we have new standards. We have 49 ELA standards and indicators in English language arts, 38 in math. So that's 87, down from over 200 potentially tested standards and indicators. With 180 days of school minus the 20-day testing window, it really gives our teachers 160 days to teach. That's like 2 standards a day. That's no absences, that's no sick days, no no field days. And so that's still very aggressive. That's 87 potentially tested standards and indicators. Our Chief of Academics, Ms. Tina McCaskill, wanted me to remind people that when you look at an indicator, there's also sub-indicators to this. So there's still more than what we have presented, plus all other responsibilities that teachers have. And so our success in terms of Tier 2 interventions will have to look outside of the school day for some of our struggling learners, for some of the students who need additional. Is what happens after school. If you look at the waking hours of a student over the year, 80% of their time is out of school. It is important that we do not confuse learning time with school time. And for a lot of us, if learning is confined to just the school hours, we're not going to have success for all of our students. And so as we look at Tier 2 opportunities, even as we talk tonight about after-school programming, it is our ability to get into that 81% time with safe academic arts and athletic enrichment that's going to ensure that all of our students have an opportunity to be successful. So with that, we want to look at ways that we can improve that Tier 2 setting after school. And that will come with supplementing our staff to stay those after-school hours. to work with students after school and weekends. And so the board has approved for a supplement revision of our current supplement schedule. For the board tonight, I just wanted to give an update on where we are on that supplement revision. Currently, if you look at what's approved in our budget, we have the salaries that we do, and again, we have the 4 classifications of salaries. So there's 4 salary schedules within our budget and 3 supplement schedules within our budget. The teacher salary schedule is 190 days. The administrative salary schedule, which is up to 240 days, we have an hourly support staff schedule and a separate hourly bus driver schedule. Those are the salary schedules. On the supplement side, these are duties that you would perform outside of your salary, and we call those supplements. They are performed outside of the salary schedule. We have our extracurricular schedule, our special duties schedule, and our special duties pre-K through 5 schedule. The issue that we're finding on the supplement side is that there are certain supplements that are uniform for the entire district. And then there are certain supplements that are very specific to a specific school. That causes some confusion. So as we discuss our proposed salary schedule and supplement schedule, we'll keep our salaries the same, but you will see 5 different supplement schedules. Arts, athletics, and department head academics or academics will have their own separate supplement schedule. These duties would be distributed out by the function type, and they are uniform across the district. What does that mean? When academics, if this supplement is provided at one of our middle schools, it's provided at all of our middle schools. There's a department head for English. It will be at all of our schools. So this will be uniform. For band, or for arts, I can take band or chorus or drama or dance. Those are uniform throughout the school. But if we look at the last 2 supplement schedules, special duties and grant funded, these are very specific to one site. It is hard to make these uniform. I just realized y'all can't see what I'm seeing. So the last 2, special duties and grant funded, are very specific to a particular site. At one school, the DECA or maybe Beta Club or Civitan Club may have 100 members. At another school, may have 10 members. Well, if we name it by the name of the club, you may underpay one staff member and overpay another. And so for special duties, we have worked for about a year and a half with our principals to come up with function types or special duty types where you would give a different class, a Class A supplement. Each site would get an allotment of Class A, which would be for your larger clubs that meet very often, that have a lot of responsibility. Student government, for instance, requires a lot of responsibility. Then you would have a Class B, where the clubs may be smaller, but they still meet very often. Class C is for small clubs that do not require a lot of weekend and after-school supervision. And then Club D, these are kind of those very small special purpose clubs. But the principal can assign those specific to the needs of their site. And so the board would approve the overall funding as well as the function use type, and the principal will be responsible for allocating those as needed. All of those, the arts, athletics, academics, and special duties, could be approved with our annual budget. What we need to spend some time on what's called the grant-funded positions. Those grant funded are coming from booster clubs. They're coming from PTSOs. They're coming from parent organizations. And these will come throughout the year. And so as a group looks at all of the schedules and supplement schedules and say, yes, but I see that you have this special duty, I see that you have this athletic, but I want more for this school. And they raise the funds and they raise the salary and the benefits. That grant-funded schedule will have to be revisited throughout the year. So again, our goal, increase Tier 2, increase those services for our students, but let's put these supplements in a very systemized way to deliver those after-school and weekend supports for our students, and then have a realistic way of addressing those very individualized supplements that appear towards this board and administration. I believe, as was stated in our invocation, that that's the way we can transform the students, providing them with those opportunities that may be outside of that 20% of time they spend in the school to transform I can't into I can. Before we go on to student services and planning report, I will stand for any questions about what has been presented thus far.
Do we have any questions? Ms. Huddle?
Dr. Ross, on the grant funded, that would also include I think we just approved grants for tutoring. Would that fall under the grant funding?
Correct. If it did not make, and I'm looking at Heather, if it did not make our annual budget, those came in. So if we got new money for tutoring, we have new money for.
So if they came in, they'd be under the academic supports?
No, ma'am. Those would be, unless they're reoccurring, because one of the issues we would find with grant funded is they're like 1 year or a 2 year deal. Most time they're 1 year. So if we put them on the arts, academics, or athletics, these would be considered reoccurring.
So really all the grant funding, regardless of where the grant comes from or when we get the grant, it would fall under the grant funding.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Tucker, if you want to speak to that.
Yes, sir. I would say all of the grant funding would be there because it would just be time limited. So it would be for the term of the grant. So we would want to renew those year after year. We wouldn't want to put those in our annual budget, that they would be recurring supplements.
So a related question, and we're at the Kate Center, I think there's some kind of supplements for, I don't know if it's all the Kate teachers or there's some kind of supplements here. Are those grant supplements or are those academic support supplements, or are they both?
Ms. McCaskill, I'm looking across the way, but I believe those are district-supported supplements for academics, correct?
That is correct.
So they would fall under the academic supports?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any other questions? Mr. Satterfield?
Dr. Ross, the getting back to the academic end of things with the possibility of coming up with a stipend and that, have we had any discussion with any of the principals to get some feedback from them about what they would like to see? I've said more times than you want to hear that it needs to be a substantial, if the academics are our priority. But I was wondering if we had shared or gotten any feedback or input from any of the principals.
We have, and this process is set with the principals the longest in terms of breaking out the supplement schedule, and they were very supportive of that. I think the biggest piece is that we included elementary because there were less elementary supplements, and so that has been added. We've also had principals like Vernon Savin for the middle school and Dr. Lofton for the high schools represent, working with Dr. Wicker on how to break out those special duty ones. But in terms of the academic Tier 2, I won't let Ms. McCaskill, if I can put you on the spot, to talk about your conversations with the teachers because we wanted to include their voice as well with the faculty advisory.
So I spoke with faculty advisory last week, very briefly, but they were in favor of, especially the academic supports that you're talking about. And we talked a little bit about how we could put that as a supplement versus right now it's sort of an hourly pay, and how that might look a little different in terms of committing to, say, tutoring for a semester versus 1 day a week for this hour and that hour, and it being kind of hodgepodge, but a little more of a commitment to that. They're actually working on a survey right now with their schools to talk about what types of Tier 2 services, after-school kinds of things that they would like to see, what that supplement might look like for them, and then how many staff in their building are willing to participate in something like that. So trying to get as much input there as we can from the staff as well.
Well, I appreciate that because, and I know I said before, hourly is just not going to cut it. I mean, teachers aren't going to stay back for another hour just for an hourly rate of pay. But if it's again, these people are winning state championships for us every year. If they're raising our third grade reading scores, or they're, helping kids graduate from high school, whatever it might be, that's like getting a ring. I mean, that's really an important thing. So I think we need to make it so that it is attractive to the teachers, so much so that they say, they've got competition in their schools, and the principal is the one that makes the decision. But I just think that it's a much-needed approach. I shared with Dr. Ross that I was at a conference a while back, and this guy was bragging about how much he had raised his test scores, and he was in I won't say the county, but it was not like a rich county or anything. Well, he had gotten the school board to lower the class sizes from 15 to 1. Well, he had success because he had a smaller number of kids. So if you had an after-school tutoring group or a teacher that was committed to that, and they had I don't care if they have just 15 or whatever, they're going to make great strides. So anyway, thank you.
Anybody else? All right, Dr. Rouse.
At this time, I will turn the presentation over to our Chief of Student Services and Planning, Dr. Michael Harris, for his update.
Thanks so much, Dr. Ross, members of the board, and to our community. On tonight, we've been spending quite a bit of time researching and investigating and communicating in reference to safety features and things that can build upon the safety that we have here in School District 5. What we wanted to do tonight was, rather than talk a little less about hardware, but talk perhaps about kind of what we refer to as software of our safety here. And we thought it would be wise to do that. And in that spirit, we asked Officer Wise, who's our lead safety officer, to come forward and to share with us a little bit about what's happening in the world of our safety office here in School District 5.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Ross, distinguished board members. Thank you for the opportunity to come up here and to give you kind of an update of this year so far within the safety office. As you can tell, the safety office is a little different than most of the other departments within the school district. You will find that the theme of uniqueness is through this presentation, as the safety office does have a unique job here. Some of the things we're going to go over today is we're going to hit on the big parts of us being a liaison with our public safety partners. We'll talk about some drills, the way we're doing some drill updates and procedures. We'll always hit on Crisis Go. I think that's a great tool that I'd like to talk about again. We'll talk about some cameras, some Zero Eyes integration, and then some new training updates that we're doing. Biggest thing I think with the safety office that you see day in, day out is the way we have our partnerships with our first responders. We're very blessed to have such a big group here in this jurisdiction and in this community. We are unique in the fact, though, of how many jurisdictions that we do encompass here in the district. Any given day, there's one example I can think of where we have at least 4 law enforcement jurisdictions and 2 fire service jurisdictions and 3 EMS jurisdictions on one campus. So it is a very unique situation here in the district that we have to have those partnerships to make sure that we get things done in an effective, safe manner. One of the things I do want to point out is these two pictures right here, I think they sum up some cool things we're doing in the district. To the left, that is our Emergency Advisory Committee meeting. We have everyone from federal representation, state representation, and even local representation in those meetings. Now, we hold an awesome breakfast. That's how we entice them to come too as well. So I appreciate the nutrition staff helping us out with that. But that is a great meeting. We definitely have some good conversation there, and it's priceless to be able to put face to name and have that phone number on who to call when an emergency happens. So we're very, very thankful about that. To the right, you can see a picture, and that's Dr. Ross and Dr. Harris with USCPD. They have a very cool program that we looked into and that we kind of help with. They need some training needs. That is their gun detection kinetic dog program, where the dogs can smell firearms on people. So it was very cool to collaborate with them, see what programs they're using to make their campus safe. But that allows us to kind of stay on the leading edge of technology and see what other campuses are doing, not only at the K-12 level, but also at college campuses. So talking about our drills, as you can see the state statute for our drills, I'm not going to read it verbatim, but we do exceed that level plus more. You know, we do, right in the middle of September, we have our active shooter drills. I will tell the community you may see an increased law enforcement presence on one of the campuses, but that's because law enforcement helps us when we conduct those drills. We very value that partnership, and it also allows law enforcement to come in to see the layout of the building, helps them in turn if we ever have to respond. We are also using Crisis Go. We're getting a lot of good feedback from teachers. We've had that for about a year now, so they're really getting into it, using it, becoming comfortable with it. So we go above and beyond, I will tell you, with the fire drills too. So it's these days, children and students that have come into this district, it's almost like autopilot. One of those alerts go off, boom, they're gone. It's very impressive to see a school empty in 4 minutes. It's very impressive. And we follow the standard response protocols. I just like to have that poster up there so the community can see it as well. We keep things very simple, and Crisis Go follows those exact same symbols. So if you're ever in one of our school buildings, you see that poster around, those are our standard response protocols. Talking about Crisis Go, I've already hit a little bit of it. We're seeing very good interaction with it with these active shooter drills and with fire drills. We're also using it for our drill management. So it's become very handy now where it's automated messages and the school gets notified if they have 10 days left in the month to hit XYZ drill. They automatically receive an automated email to say, hey, we have not seen that you've done your fire drill for this month. Make sure you do it in XYZ amount of time. And we're getting a lot of good feedback on that. So we do appreciate the Crisis Go app and helping the safety office out and getting that message out to the schools in a timely manner. I wanted to talk about camera requests. I do appreciate y'all helping us out with cameras. All cameras is always kind of a hot subject with schools. They always want to have as many cameras as possible. So we always try to find out the best ways, best angles. There's a lot of background that goes into where a camera will be placed, what type of camera it is, what angle you're getting, and everything like that. So this year, as we did last year, we opened up a month for schools to request 5 new cameras, 5 priority cameras. So we are working in the midst of that right now. It's going to close at the end of this month, and that's a big collaboration that we do with our technology department. So I did want to bring that up, and we appreciate your support on that. Some other things I just want to touch lightly on. I'm not going to go into the security-sensitive nature of each one, but the safety office is involved with a lot of technology throughout the district, and I just listed a couple right here. We do have our visitor management through Centegic. We have our Stop It that we collaborate with student services. We have our camera system, our Zero Eyes that we've had discussions about prior, our Crisis Go, our weather notifications, our weather radios, our school-based radio system, which is its own entity in its own self, and then a badge pass system that we collaborate with technology, and then obviously Power School. So it sounds like a lot of the list there, but how do we integrate that with the safety office? We do it through emergency operations plans. We do a lot with event planning. Big games such as Dutch Fork Irmo High School takes a lot of planning in the background to get that game to operate smoothly when it's time to play. And emergency response. A lot of people, when they think emergency response, they think emergency responders obviously come into the building to handle whatever emergency issue there is. But what is on the tail end of that? Reunification, community response, community healing. We all have to think about that when we're talking about response. Another thing I'd like to bring up, this has been a very cool training that the safety office got to go to, and I think it's some new training that we're going to bring back to the district that we haven't had in the past. We were very fortunate to get a grant through a federal agency that sent 2 members of the safety office out to New Mexico to do some bomb training. It was not any Lexridge 5 money. We received that grant, so that was awesome. We got to experience some new things that we have seen overseas and some threats we have seen domestically. But we're also looking at UAVs, everything like that, today's society. We're going to bring all that new back to our training here with our active shooter, active assailant threat program. So we're excited about that. I think teachers are going to be very interested with what we have to teach. It's going to be eye-opening. So we're excited to make sure that information that is happening current is getting back to those teachers. Thus, we keep the teachers and the students safe. And I'd like to close with who kind of makes up the safety office. This is a great picture, and I'd like to boast on my team for right now for a second. Day in to day out, these individuals make sure that everybody that shows up goes home the same way they came to school. And that means community members, staff members, students. We take it to heart that we want everybody to be safe in the school and have a learning environment that they can thrive in. I would trust any one of those individuals in my life, and I know for a fact they're going to do whatever that needs to be done to make sure that this district is safe. And we are very blessed to have those people. So I did want to boast on them. They do a lot of things behind the background, which is okay. That's how the safety office likes to operate. We don't want to be in the limelight. But they do a lot for this district, and I really wanted to make sure that they know they're very well appreciated through here. So I did want to take an opportunity to say that. However, there's also another side of the safety office a lot of people don't see. We have some great opportunities to get into the community. To the left, we have some High Five Fridays. Richland County does a great job. And I will even give it a shout out to SRO Hodge over there at Ballantyne Elementary School. She does a great job with those High Five Fridays. So those are those 2 pictures. And as you can tell, there's a bunch of different agencies there. It's not just Richland County. They have Highway Patrol, SLED, everything like that. You should see the kids' faces on Friday when we're able to do that. It's a great time. They usually have music blasting in the background. It is definitely a sight to be seen. And then Gibson's probably going to kill me, but to the right, I got him with the 4K celebration. So that's a blackmail photo we had waiting in the background. And then the other one I'd like to put out, Shatter the Myth. This is a great program the safety office really enjoys participating in. I'd invite all of y'all to come if you have the opportunity. It is very eye-opening to see how kids learn through the process, and it includes kind of some criminal justice stuff that we enlighten them about. But we really enjoy getting to those community events. So I just wanted to show you that other side of the safety office. We're not always responding to emergencies or doing trainings, but we are making sure we're fully rounded in the community. And that's just a very brief, generic, kind of generalized 25-26 so far how the safety office is going. I'll open it up.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions? Ms. Huddle?
In a lot of unfortunate incidents, there's a student that has some emotional or mental health issues, and I'm wondering, like, is there training that goes on for our administrators, our school counselors, so in a process so that they know when a concern rises to a certain level, what they should do about that?
Yes, ma'am. I would say the best way we do is we do a collaboration among multiple different departments with that. We would involve our mental health counselors. We'd also involve we do a lot with student services. So if we do recognize an individual is needing resources, we have the ability to collaborate. And a lot of that time, that collaboration comes through the weekend, actually. So we have the ability to call our mental health counselors point of contact or our social service point of contact. There's been a lot of times where I'll say, a good example is Ms. Feckle will help us out. We have maybe a fire or something over the weekend, or we have an issue with a family that needs certain services. That would be we collaborate on that. They get trained on that, but we try to use the expertise of each department to also assist us when we have any instances like that.
Anybody else? Ms. Barnard?
First of all, thank you for everything that y'all do. A question on the cameras, just out of curiosity, have we received a lot of requests from the different schools for new cameras on campuses?
So every school does usually put in a request. I think last year we only had one school that did not put in a request for cameras.
Also, if anybody doesn't know, to brag on Officer Cato, he actually has a book on safety and security that I've ordered and read, and it's very good. So if you'd like to look into it, I suggest you go order it.
We do have a published author, yes, and he is actually, I think he is going to a award ceremony later this week for that book, so kudos to him.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Anybody else? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Madam Chair, that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you.